Friday. Details of the rally have not yet been released. Obama had to cancel his last trip to Iowa last week to visit his ailing grandmother in Hawaii.
Speaking of the race for the White House, if you've been watching much TV these days, you've probably noticed all of those political ads.
Some from the campaigns, some from independent groups. Millions of dollars spent, though, to sway your vote. Now, this morning, the head of one of those groups is live in our Washington newsroom.
That's right. Colin Hanna is president of Let Freedom Ring USA. That is a conservative group airing ads on TV stations in several different states. Some of those on Sinclair Broadcast Group stations. That's the company that owns our station. Colin, good morning. Thank you very much for being with us. First of all, let's talk about what you aim to achieve in these ads.
Sure. We're trying to reach swing voters, Tim, the undecided middle, if you will. And we have a campaign called Never Find Out with its own website, neverfindout.org. And the goal of the campaign is to make people really think about what the consequences would be of electing a candidate as far to the left as Barack Obama is. This is a candidate that is not well known to the public at large. Most of what they know is the result of a carefully crafted, elegantly presented PR image. And it's frankly at odds with the set of policies that he has embraced over the years and the kinds of associations which are indicative of what kind of person the candidate himself is. We're trying to point those things out, and we're suggesting that when you look at the things that could happen if Obama were to become president, maybe you want to never find out what an Obama presidency would be like.
Now, we've gone through some of your ads, and, you know, again, like most of the ads, we're finding a little bit of question marks. As an example, there's one ad that targets Senator Obama for his ties to William Ayers, now a radical who bombed public buildings back in the 60s and the 70s. Let's take a look.
You say William Ayers was just a guy in your neighborhood, but the Wall Street Journal tells us that you and William Ayers were together as a team, and they must be right. Because when you decided to run for the Senate, you announced your candidacy at his house, a known terrorist.
Now, let's talk about that last statement. At least according to the Obama campaign and a number of publications, including the Chicago Sun-Times, it's not true. And it says you're referencing Obama's state Senate campaign, not his U.S. Senate campaign. Now, the Sun-Times, they also report that the state Senate campaign was launched at a Ramada Inn, not in that gentleman's living room. Your reaction?
It's basically an objection completely without merit. I ran for public office. I announced my candidacy any number of times. I began by announcing it to my family. I then went to the local newspaper. I held some fundraisers at which I announced it. I held some public events at which I announced it. And then ultimately I announced it through the filing of campaign papers. That's essentially the objection that they're raising here. They're saying that he announced it at the Ramada Inn, not at William Ayers' living room. But if you look at factcheck.org, you will see documentation that exactly what we talked about occurred, that there was a neighborhood meet-and-greet party at which he announced his candidacy. And it's completely validated. So the distinction which they're trying to make is basically without merit whatsoever. So, Colin, it's a silly point that they're trying to make.
Colin, these independent ads often raise questions, but we got to point out that Let Freedom Ring USA has also pulled one of your own ads because of accuracy issues. Explain that.
Yes. I'm so glad that you asked that, because we are absolute sticklers for accuracy and facts. And one of the ads that dealt with Obama's tax policies and his tax plan, in fact, became invalid after we had produced it because of a shift in what the candidate said. So we pulled the ad.
Okay, thank you very much, Colin Hanna with Let Freedom Ring USA. Thanks for talking with us live this morning from our Washington newsroom. Thanks so much. And now we go to Justin Roberts. He's in the Weather Center. The latest on your first warning forecast.
Well, I tell you what, not only are we just about how many days away from the election, but we are only 24 hours away from perfect weather here in the state of Iowa.
Sounds good.
Upper 60s. Some spots might even flirt with the 70s as we go through the day tomorrow. Today, not a bad day, though. Let's take a look at what we're expecting as we head to the bus stop. 34 degrees. A cool morning, yes. West-northwest breezes at about 3 to 5 miles an hour. And then those winds will shift off towards the south. Again, we're kind of seeing some of that this morning, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour out of the north and west. But then down towards the south, those winds have already shifted. Good news is that'll bring us some warmer temperatures. There you can see the warmer temps should be close to 50 by noon. We might adjust this just a little bit. One thing for certain, we'll have sunshine. And